Yeah, you're like an hour away, right? Not bad.
Test 1, 2, check.
Okay, you start, right?
I'll stand up here. Sorry.
Oh, no, I'll call you up. Okay, yeah, you can sit with your folks. Sure.
Okay, so this is basically the mic I'm using for the guitar too, just.
You start.
Okay, so I'm gonna do. Oh. We're going to start with a perfect morning blessing. Modeh ani lefanecha on page 186, if you want to follow along. Just basically thanking God for allowing us to wake up for another day. Modeh ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam שהחזרתה בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך הודעני לפניך מלך חי וקיים שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך And let's turn to the next page, 188. And we'll just do a simple Hine Matov. Behold how good and pleasant it is for us to all be able to be together. which, given how it's been for a while, that's a great sentiment. Hine ma tohu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom. Good morning. Welcome to Congregation Beth Shalom of Napa. I'm Lee Beisel. I'm the Rabbi Emeritus. In case you don't know, Emeritus is a fancy word for retired, but it sounds better than retired, doesn't it, Gordon?
I like retired.
Yeah, so I'm in other words, they put me out to retired, or? Yeah, I'm retired. Anyway, welcome. Really happy you're here. I'm filling in this morning for Rabbi Goldstein, who's back in Chicago for a family celebration. And I'm thrilled to be here with the Honig family, who mean a lot to me. And it's great to be with Gordon Lustig, the music director of Congregation Beth Shalom. Celebrating a bat mitzvah like today with Sophia is an incredible opportunity. How many of you have never been to a bar bat mitzvah before? Okay, terrific. Welcome. I'm glad you're here for the first time. You're ready for about an 8-hour service? Is that okay? Oh no. Okay, should we shorten it a bit or?
Just 7 today.
Yes, 7 today. Okay, because this young man's never been. Yeah.
Might get hungry.
You might get hungry. Okay. No, so let me just share a little bit with you what this is about. Sophia's been working hard for a number of years. She's learned Hebrew. She's studied Judaism. She'll be sharing her thoughts with you later. It's a wonderful rite of passage in Jewish life of Sophia and who she is as a young woman. And we're very proud of her. But this isn't a performance, and this is what I love about it. Sophia and her family invited us all here this morning, and she'll be leading a service, and many of us will be unfamiliar with the prayers and not know them. But here's how I view it, especially in these times of COVID, and especially in these times of a hurting world. Sophia has invited us to share this wonderful moment with she and her family, and to give us some time to reflect, some time, I don't know what the right word is for you. We don't know each other, many of us, the right word to pray, the right word to think, the right word to hope, the right word to dream. What a gift. And I mean that in all seriousness. You, like me, live in a very turbulent world where we're rushing around. So this morning, when Sophia's reading or chanting some of the Hebrew, if you don't know what it means, don't worry about it. Take your time. Read some of the beautiful English passages in this prayer book. Look inward. Make this moment yours. And later, you're going to say, wow, that's Sophia Honig. What an exceptional young woman. How much I learned from her today. How inspired I am. But that's only half of it. I hope you'll find the time to look in your own hearts to find meaning this morning. So welcome. We're really happy you're here. We'll be sharing the service with you. And people have come in from all over. I'd just like to welcome them. I know Did anybody come from Argentina, just for example? I'll pick out one country. Is that, well, did anybody come from Afghanistan? I guess I can't. Now, you have to understand, I do a lot of work with refugees, so I have to joke about things that are very painful, and that's a whole other, we can talk about that later. But anybody come from Argentina? Welcome. Would you stand up and just introduce yourselves? It'd be great. Yeah, please, it'd be great. Sure, can you translate? Oh, no, okay, yeah. We welcome you. No, it's terrific. Welcome from Buenos Aires. Did someone else come from Argentina? Who else came? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought, yeah, I didn't, okay, yeah. Terrific. Anybody else from South America? Should I go around the world, or it's not necessary? You know,
all your...
Yeah, okay. So anybody come from out of state? Anybody come? Yeah, oh yeah. Please, would you introduce yourselves? And did you bring this young man with you? Sure. 2 years ago, I did their wedding. It was another great honor in the family. Anybody else from out of state? Anybody else from anybody from San Francisco? Oh, welcome. How was the trip over here? Good. Welcome from San Francisco. Anybody from my part of the world, Berkeley, Oakland? Anybody from the East Bay? Okay, well, wherever you're from, welcome. We're just happy you're here. Relax, enjoy it, celebrate this gift of Shabbat, celebrate Sophia, and celebrate this time without iPhones, without noise from the world. Trust me, the world will be there 90 minutes from now. But let's do something for our hearts and our souls while we're together. So our service continues now. Stephanie's mom will now present Sophia with a prayer shawl that has special meaning. Stephanie will explain it. So I want to invite Sophia and Stephanie to come up, and with Stephanie sharing some remarks about this talit. So please come up.
So this talit was given to me by my grandparents, my dad's parents, in 1987 when I was 12 years old, and I had my bat mitzvah in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So I saved it for you. So I'm glad you're going to be using it today. And you'll be so proud.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Stephanie. You can stay. You're going to stay up here, Sophia. That's beautiful. You wore that at your bat mitzvah?
I did.
Oh my God. And
Just a few years ago.
There were at least two people at your bat mitzvah, right? Your mom and your aunt? And you weren't there. No.
She was 3 weeks old. She was at the party, but she was.
That is a beautiful talit. So you can go sit down for a while now. You'll be coming back up. Sophia, very happy that you're up here with Gordon and me. So we go now to there's prayers we say every day. And Sophia's going to lead them in the Hebrew. We'll respond in the English. We respond in the English. And you'll see them. They're going to be starting on page 198. Some of these prayers apply to everyone here. Some don't. There's one prayer that says, I'm grateful for having made me a Jew. Well, for many people here aren't Jewish. Be grateful for who and what you are. So if it's a prayer you can relate to it. If it's not, make your own prayer this morning and prayer to me in this context is what we're grateful for. So Sophia, we're going to begin with you, and for the congregation, it's on page 198.
Okay.
Did you say the blessing over the talit?
Oh,
no. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's what happens. Okay. I think we should do the prayer over the talit. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehi'atef b'tzitzi.
Terrific. And Sophia, just like you want me to remind you of stuff, if I forget something, will you remind me?
Yes.
Because that would have, what happens if we had done the whole service and I had remembered later, what would have happened?
Start all over.
Okay, but so thank God that didn't happen. Okay. So anyway, the morning blessings, the morning prayers are on page 198, and Sophia will lead us, and then Gordon will lead us in the response.
Baruch, wait, I don't remember, like, do you just go?
Do you just sing Baruch Atah Adonai?
Yeah, okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech vivina lechavhin bein yom uvein laila.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. And then we're going to read the English. So we say, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach hivrim.
Who opens the eyes of the blind.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Let's see, frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kafufim.
Who lifts up the fallen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokach haaretz al hamayim.
Who stretches the earth over the waters.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamehin mitzadei gaver.
Who strengthens our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Who clothes the naked.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanotein laya'if koach.
Who gives strength to the weary.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam chamehin sheina me'ena utnuma me'afapai.
Who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tselem Elohim.
Who made me in the image of God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chorin.
Who has made me free.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Who has made me a Jew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Who girds Israel with strength.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Who crowns Israel with splendor.
It's a great way to start the day, Sophia, to express gratitude. Something we all can keep in mind, whoever and wherever we are in the world, what it means to start a day with gratitude. We have another chance of living. And now we all turn to page 226 for the Baruch Hu, and I ask you to rise and join with Gordon. No, not yet. That's next.
Lie, la, la, lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie. Lie, la, la, lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie. Lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie, lie. Lie, la, la, lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie. Lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie, lie. Lie, la, la, lie, 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 lie. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. On page 231, please join with me in the English. Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard Lech Lecha, go forth. God disturbs us towards our destiny by hard events and by freedom's now urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael, b'ahava. Maybe, Gordon, we can do V'hayar Einenu on page 230.
I don't think we.
Oh, okay. We won't do that. Okay. We're going to go on page 232. Sophia will lead us in this prayer called the Shema, which is at the heart of Judaism. And Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. But what does it mean that there's a unifying force in the world, however we view that? It's a beautiful prayer, and I ask you to join Sophia in the prayers on 232, 3, and 4. Sophia, let's go ahead with the Shema.
And to be honest, everybody, I don't have no idea what I'm saying either. I mean, so it's okay.
No, I appreciate that. I just have to share one little story with you. All of that, what do we say? What does it mean? One of my grandsons is 4 years old. And recently he said to me, he calls me Saba, which means grandpa in Hebrew. He says, Saba, there's God. And I said, oh, it's interesting, Levi, there's God. He says, yeah, God's up in the sky somewhere. So I said, oh, that's very interesting, Levi. And he said to me, Saba, I can hear God talking. And I said, Levi, what's God saying? And Levi said to me, I don't understand what God's saying. So it connects to exactly what you're saying, Sophia. We relate to it. Let's continue with the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kavod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvleftecha v'derech u'shokbecha uvkumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'chayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha L'man tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'asitem keroshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
And on page 237, I invite you to join with me in the reading of the English. If people fall, can they not also rise? If they break away, can they not return? The stork in the sky knows when to migrate. The dove and the swallow know the season of return. What human instinct knows the time to turn back? What cue sparks the conscience of the soul? We pray to sense this day anew, attuned to the call of sacred living. Life without integrity is like loosely hanging threads, easily frayed from the main cloth. While in acts of piety, we learn to understand that every instant is like a thread, raveling out of eternity to form a delicate tassel. We must not cast off the threads, but we weave them into the design of an eternal fabric. Each day points to eternity. The fate of all time depends upon a single moment. And we continue on page 240, when the ancient Israelites were leaving Egypt and they crossed through the Sea of Reeds. They sang this beautiful song of gratitude again. And we join with Gordon on page 240 with the Mi Chamocha.
Yam bam bam bim bim bye, yabba bye bye bim bam. Yam bam bam bim bim bye, yabba bye bye bim bam. Ya la 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 la, yabba bye bye bim bam. Ya la 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 la, yabba bye bye bim bam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. No rat hilot o sefele, no rat hilot o sefele. Shira chadasha, shibaku ga'ulim, l'simcha l'simcha, zasvat hayam. יחד כולם הודו, והמלכו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ים בם בם בים בים ביי, יבא ביי ביי בים בם. ים בם בם בים בים ביי, יבא ביי ביי בים בם. יאי לי 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 לי, יבא ביי ביי בים בם. יאי לי 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 לי, יבא ביי ביי בים בם.
In just a moment, I'll be inviting you to rise, and Sophia will lead us in what a prayer called the Tefillah, which reflects the hopes and wishes of a community. And then when she's done with that, I'll invite you to sit down when you wish and take a few moments for your own soul, for your own heart. What are your hopes? What are your prayers? And there's a little reading on the top of 243 that I really resonate to. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you. What a great ethic, that the world is waiting on you and you and you and me. The things that we read about, the things that we hope for, the better world of goodness that we strive for is dependent on you and me. And today, Sophia, when we stand with you and we see you lead us in this, it reminds us of our duty to help you in shaping a world that is a little bit more just, a little bit more compassionate, and a little bit more peaceful. So I invite you to rise and join with Sophia on page 242.
Do I just go ahead and start? Yeah. Okay. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vikonei Hakol, Vizocher Haste Avot Ve'imaho, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nechem, Liman Shemo Biachava, Melech Hozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rav lechoshia. Mechakel hayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol barach rabim rabim. Somech noflim ve'ofeh cholim, Umatir asurim. Umikayim emunato lishene afa michamocha ba'agivurot Umido melech, melech mimi, umechaye, umatzmiya Yeshua. Ve'ne'ema natan lecha chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol.
We take a few moments for our own prayers of our own heart. And when you're done, you can be seated.
Modim anachnu lach, sha'atahu Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu, le'olam va'ed. Modim anachnu lach, sha'atahu Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu, le'olam va'ed. Oh, give thanks for the sky above, for the new snow of December, for the spring and a summer song that the autumn winds remember. Oh, sing out for the love that grows and the life that flows within us. Oh, be glad for another day. Modim anachnu lach, sha'atahu Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu, le'olam va'ed. Modim anachnu lach, sha'atahu Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu, le'olam va'ed. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu, le'olam va'ed.
When someone becomes a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah, it really has to do with this next part of the service. In just a few moments, we'll be taking out the Torah from the Ark. As many of you know, the Torah is the 5 books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Sophia will be called to the Torah for the first time. She'll be chanting from that Torah. And you'll see when we take out the Torah is that we don't worship the Torah itself as a physical object. We celebrate what's in it. So this rite of passage is about a young woman or a young man having studied, having read, having learned Hebrew, and later she'll be interpreting. This part she does know what it means, and she'll be interpreting for us beautifully. But it's a sacred act. It has great meaning that she's reading from the Torah like her mom did a number of years ago in Buenos Aires. And what a great perspective to think of people all around the world becoming a bar mitzvah. And just to understand, no one becomes bar mitzvahed or bat mitzvahed. I don't need to be here. Gordon doesn't need to be here. By reading from the Torah, she becomes a bat mitzvah. She did it in her own volition. And what to me it means, and especially with a young woman like Sophia, and she's saying is that these words still matter. May not understand them exactly, may have trouble interpreting them for the world of 2021, but I know they still matter because human beings were still grappling to understand the world around us. So in just a few moments, Sophia will be reading from the Torah, will be honoring other people in that part of the service, and we'll say more about that as we go on. So this part of the service, which is an exciting part, this begins on page 362, and I invite you to rise, please.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai Vein kama'asecha Malchutecha malachut kol olamim Umemshaltecha v'chol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch leolam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
And I invite your siblings to come up here and open the ark with me. If you all can come up. And we face the ark and we join with Gordon. So go ahead and open it when you're ready.
Yeah, you can open
Good job. Yeah. Are you ready for this? What's in there? What do you think? You know what's in there? Okay, good. She knows. Okay. Can you guys open this? And then you guys stand right here and continue.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah. Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael Bigdu Shato.
I'd like to now invite up, and Michael and Stephanie, I'm changing it a little bit. I'm going to have people come here, I think, so people can hear me. Michael and Stephanie, I'd like to invite you up. Bill and Catherine, I'd like to invite you to come up. And Bob and Raquel, I'd like you to come up. And we'll line up this way. You guys stand right out there by the toilet. You come over here. Stephanie, come next to her. Michael next to Stephanie. And do it. I think Bob was next to you. Is that what we had? Yes. I think Bob here, then Raquel, or we can switch that order if you want. And Bill, come on over here, and Catherine. And it goes a little bit further out that way, okay? And come on over here, Catherine, next to Raquel, and Bill right here next to the grandkids. Come on over here. The kids come over here. This Torah has been around a long time. It's been passed down from generation to generation, and I'd like to think of the women and men throughout history who got this Torah wherever it may be, in places all around the world. And those women and men said, I'm going to give this meaning. I'm going to interpret it for my time. I'm going to live by the ethics and values in here and try to live by them. Try to live what the Torah really teaches, and that is, how do I find meaning? How do I have purpose? And how do I make this world a bit better in my time on this earth? Sophia, I know these wonderful people up here with you, your grandparents. each of them, I know, makes the Torah real in their way. And so I think what I'm going to do, Michael and Stephanie, I'm just going to symbolically move it around. I think it's better for today with COVID and everything. But we'll go from Bill to Catherine, to Raquel, to Bob, to Michael, to Stephanie, and then Sophia, you'll take the Torah and join me back up here. I'm just going to kind of do it this way. No, back in. Now, one, now, and second. Come on over here. You all stay here for a minute. So, that's okay.
It's all right. Just
Don't worry.
Sorry, everybody.
Everybody's okay. On page 366, come on over here, Sophia. Sophia Wright will lead us in these prayers on 366. You doing okay?
keep walking. Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Yeah, we can do this. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, okay. The Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah
Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato
Shema Yisrael
Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Gadlu Adonai Iti Unaro Shemo Yahdav. And even though we're not doing a hakafah, how about some joyous music for the Torah and for Sophia?
Shlosha Devarim Shlosha Devarim Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam Omer Shlosha Devarim Shlosha Devarim Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam
Is he sure it's not?
Ala Torah Ve'ala Avodah Ve'al Gemilut Hasadim Ala Torah
Thanks, Sam.
Ve'ala Avodah Ve'al Gemilut
Oh, yeah.
Hasadim
You're sweet. Oh my God.
Shlosha Devarim Shlosha Devarim Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam Omer Ala Torah Ve'ala Avodah Ve'al Gemilut Hasadim Ala Torah Ve'ala
This
Avodah
isn't it. This is not
Ve'al
it.
Gemilut
Follow this isn't it.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Sophia will be reading from the section of the Torah called Ki Tetzeh, meaning when you go out. As you can see the scroll, we're coming near the end of the year because in a few short weeks, we will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah, the welcoming of the new year. And the scroll, we go all the way to the end of the scroll, not today.
Not today.
And then after Rosh Hashanah, a few weeks later, we start again. And that's the beauty of the Torah. Other books you and I read, we read, put it away, right? Start a new book. This book we finish and we start again. Now one might say, Sophia, why do we start it anew?
Because it's a new year.
It's a new year, and why else? There's always something new to learn, right? You've told me that there's always something new to learn, even in the same words. So this morning, she'll be chanting from the Torah. We'll be calling upon some people to come up and bless the Torah. So for our first aliyah, I would like to call upon Raquel, or Beta, I guess you should go by?
Beta.
Beta, sorry, not Beta. Beta and Bob to come up for the first blessings over the Torah with their beautiful granddaughter here.
Where is it? Okay, no, but where are you starting from? I kiss the point right there.
Okay.
Low here. Okay. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher bocha banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Lo tashich leficha neshef kesef neshech uchel neshech kol davar asher yishach lanu chi tashich ulachicha lo tashich למען יברכך אדוני אלוהיך בכל משלה ידך הארץ אשר אתה ושמה לרשת.
Wonderful, wonderful. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Oh, yes, sir. And go to the other side. And you can stay up there for the next blessing. Okay. And I wanted to also mention up here with Sophia now is her wonderful teacher, Anne Persillet, who's been working with you for a couple years now?
Like 3 years.
Like
yeah.
3 years. And when you started, did you know any Hebrew?
No, I didn't know like the words of the alphabet or anything.
Well, you're blessed with a gifted teacher who's been doing this for a few years. And we're happy to have you up here, Anne. And thank you and mazel tov to you on this day.
Thank you.
For our next Aliyah, I call upon Stephanie and Michael Honig.
Baruch et Adonai mevorach. Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bachar banu mikol amim ונתן לנו את תורתו. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki tidor neder l'Adonai Elohecha lo tacher v'shalemo ki darosh yidrishenu Adonai Elohecha me'ima v'chaya v'chachet v'chi techtal lindor lo yiyeh techachet.
That's why you can read that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
You do it with a Spanish accent.
I can't help
The
it.
Spanish accent's great. It's fantastic.
I learned it at my bat mitzvah,
Yeah.
so yeah.
You can kiss your daughter, and then you can all be seated. Thank you very much. Mazel tov, Michael and Stephanie. And you can sit down for a minute.
I can?
Yeah, for 1 minute. So She's been reading from the Torah, but now we'll be calling upon her for the first time as a bat mitzvah to be reciting the blessings and to be reading the Torah, which is an exciting moment. So I'll be calling her in her Hebrew name, which is a beautiful Hebrew name, Stephanie and Michael, Simcha, joy. And she is a joy, really a joy. Tamod, Tamod, Tamod habat mitzvah, Simcha bat Stephanie Michael La Torah. That's you. Come on up.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai habarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Here, I'll help you out a little bit. There.
Otsa Sifatecha Tishmor Ve'asita Ka'asher Nadarta Adonai Elohecha B'davar Asher Dibarta Beficha Ki tavo B'cherem recha V'chaltanim K'nafshecha Sovecha Ve'el kelyecha Lo titein. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torat emet V'chei olam Yahenu. Baruch atah Adonai Noten. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, fantastic. My God, that was tremendous. You chanted Torah beautifully. You brought it to life. You'll be talking about it later. How do you feel?
Good.
Should we go on with the service? Or?
I'd like to think so.
Okay, we want to go on. Terrific. You should feel great about it. So the next part will be the lifting of the Torah. And yeah, and for that, I'll need a little help. Michael, your brother Stephen is here, I believe. Stephen, you look pretty strong. Yeah, great, terrific. And we're gonna help you out a little bit with this to make it easier. And basically, let me just kind of get this set up, Stephen. You're gonna lift it and then go sit down, and we'll wrap it. How are you doing, Stephen? Great. Terrific. Okay, and I invite the congregation to rise and join with Gordon as Stephen lifts the Torah. Torah. Perfect. And you can go sit down over here.
Livnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Al Torah v'al ha'avodah v'al gemilut hasadim. 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 Ashlosha devarim, Ashlosha devarim, Ashlosha devarim, ha'olam omer. Ashlosha devarim, Ashlosha devarim, Ashlosha devarim, ha'olam omer.
Please be seated. The next section on every Shabbat morning, whenever we read from the Torah, she's just read from the book of Deuteronomy near the end of the Torah, as we talked about, and it's matched up with words from one of the prophets, because at the core of Judaism is learning ethics and values and like in one of the prayers we read earlier, and matching it up with a call to do justice from the prophets. The prophets remind us that our role in this world is to make it a little bit better. And Sophia certainly knows that well, and we'll talk about that more. So she, with her teacher up here, Anne, will now continue with the words from the prophets. Please, the Haftorah.
The Haftarah blessings first.
Yes, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Haboher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo Yisrael amo uv'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. Roni akara lo yalada Pitzchi rina v'tzachali lo chala ki rami Bim b'nei shomei mach mi b'nei v'ula amar Adonai harhivi b'kol macholech v'riut Mishkenotayich yatu al tachsochi harichi beitaraich v'tedotayich hazeki ki yamin u'smol tifrotzi v'zarech goyim mirash ve'arim neshamot yoshivu al tirei ki lo tevoshi ve'al tikalmi ki lo tachpiri ki voshet alumayich tishkachi v'cherpat almenotayich lo tizkari od ki vo alayich osayich Adonai Sivaot Shemo v'go'aleich Kadosh Yisrael Elochei Chol haaretz Yikarei Ki cha'isha azuvah va'atzuvat ruach kara'ach Adonai ve'eshet ne'urim ki tima'e samar Elochayich. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sor kol ha'olamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'useh ha'medaver u'mekayim shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah v'al ha'avodah v'al hanvim v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha v'fi kochai tamid le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Shabbat.
Amen. Wow, mazel tov. That's right. And here we do this, just like we just celebrate. Sophia, how do you feel?
Good.
Okay, should we hear it again?
No.
Oh, no. Okay, no. Okay, fantastic. Wow.
Thank you.
You did it.
Yeah, I did it.
God.
Not done yet, though.
Well, now the next part. Many of you know, I think you all know Sophia, a remarkable young woman. And this is the part where she's going to talk to us. And I love this moment. We so rarely don't listen to young people. And she has written and shaped and crafted a talk this morning, a Devar Torah, a word of Torah that I continue to learn from, and I know you'll share that with me. So I want you to read it slowly and loudly, right? Remember all that stuff?
Yep.
And you've got it and everything. Now just take your time, enjoy it. We're in no rush. And this gentleman, you have another 6-7 hours, right? Yeah, go. Okay, terrific. Good. Take your time, enjoy.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you, everyone that traveled to get here. Tia Patri, Daniela, Vita, and Bob. This past year, I never would have imagined standing here in front of all of you today. I've been working for over 3 years to be here, and I'm so happy to share this big moment with all of you. I was asked to talk about what having a bat mitzvah meant to me, and to be honest, I had no idea how to answer that. I thought about how COVID stopped it from happening at first and was not happy until I realized it was really a blessing in disguise. It allowed me to grow and get a better understanding of what having a bat mitzvah meant to me. My interpretation of a bat mitzvah is the day we celebrate when a young girl becomes a young adult and transfers into a new stage in her life. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, section 5, it states, "If a man has recently married, he must not be sent to war or have any other duty laid on him. For 1 year, he is to be free to stay at home and bring happiness to the wife he has married." I know I'm not the only one who just heard this and thought that they were crazy. Imagine you get married and are told that you can't work for 1 year. You'd probably be thinking, how are you going to support your family? What are you going to do? The first time I read this quote, I was extremely confused, but as I picked at it, I gained a better understanding as to what it was trying to tell me, which I'm about to share with all of you right now. There is a very important message in here that I want to point out, which is balance is one of the most important things in life. I'm not talking about physical balance, but instead I'm talking about mental balance. This man is to spend time with his wife and learn to love her even more, but he must also work to support his family and create stability. I love my family very much, but I can't imagine having to be with them 24/7 since I get annoyed with them so much. Since I was little, I have always felt the need to take care of others, and as I grew older, I became torn trying to figure out whether I wanted to take care of myself or take care of the people around me. Don't get me wrong, I love Lola, Sebi, and Sandy, but I also had to learn that enjoying myself was just as important. My mom and dad and I were talking about something, and my mom made a point that really stuck with me, which is you always have to be your number one priority. She has helped me grow to understand what that meant and pushed me to do those things that make my heart feel full, and I am so grateful to have her in my life. Over time, I have created so many memories with my friends and family. Just like a few weeks ago, my friend Claire and I pulled an all-nighter and watched the sunrise. Or when I celebrated my birthday with all of my closest friends and we watched movies and ate a ton of candy. I still take care of my siblings from time to time, but after gaining balance, I have separated myself from the role of a parent and taken on the role of an older sister. Since I have type 1 diabetes, I have had to learn to grow up quicker than all of my classmates. My whole life, I have been working to act more my age in more than one way, but now I have learned a very valuable lesson. It's not that I have to act more my age or grow up, it's that I have to learn how to create balance in my life, to be healthy and happy by doing what I want to do. Diabetes does not control me, but is only a part of me. After learning that, I began doing what makes me happy by spending time with my dogs, going on walks with my grandpa, or even just sitting alone to read. One of my favorite sayings is, "Too much of anything is bad." This is so true because to be content and healthy, you must learn to create stability in your life. I'd like to use my dad as an example. I know he works very hard to support his family, and so does my mom, but sometimes he can overdo it. This past couple of years, he's begun to take less trips and be more present with his family. I'm not trying to say that he's a bad dad because he is the most amazing dad anyone could ever ask for. But he seems to be so much happier and carefree now that he does those things. I am so grateful to have such loving and supporting family and friends. My parents have always been there for me, and I know they will continue to be as I grow, and I appreciate them so much for all they do. To all of my friends, thank you for making me laugh or listening to me when I repeat the same stories over and over again and complain about my siblings. I know I say I don't like sharing a room with Lola, and I stand by that, but at the same time, it's nice to have late night talks with her and watch some shows together. Or when Sebby and I go outside to play soccer occasionally, it's nice to beat him occasionally, at least. I mean, he's pretty good. Even when Santi asks to bring the dogs out to play, I treasure all these moments with my siblings and love them so much. Thank you, Anne. I can't see you in the crowd, but thank you for teaching me everything I know about Hebrew. And thank you to Rabbi Lee and his beautiful heart for always stepping in to help. Thank you to everyone here for treating me with such love and kindness. And also, happy birthday to Santi in 2 days. So just thought I'd say that. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Sophia, thanks so much for teaching us.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for opening your heart. And if you couldn't understand every word, or with these COVID times, and get a copy of that text. I love learning from it, Sophia, and thank you for teaching us. As you know, there's many people who love you, like a bunch of people here today.
Yeah.
But it all started with your terrific mom and dad. So I'd like to call upon your mom and dad to come up and share a few thoughts with you. Stephanie and Michael.
Well, I really didn't prepare too much for this. I just want to share some thoughts that come up every day of how proud I am of you, of your beautiful heart, your thoughtfulness, your kindness. At the same time, you are so brave, and I know you will be successful in anything you set your heart to do because you have tenacity and take challenges head on. And I love your connection, deep connection to family and to tradition. And we'll be watching you and rooting for you every step of the way. Love you. You want to say something else? You can add to that.
Oh, not much to add to that. That was a really nice thing you said about your daughter, so I don't know what I could add to anything. No, we have 4 wonderful children, and those that are parents understand the unconditional love that we have for a child. Today is Sophia's day, and it's being her. She was my first child. We have a special bond, and what I always remember is the times we spent together when before she even knew where she was, which was at Gilwood, and many of you that know us locally know I should have bought this restaurant years ago because we dined there every weekend. But it was an opportunity I had initially was to be away and have my own time with my kids, where Stephanie could go do yoga or whatever she wanted to do. So Sophia and I would start a couple of days of when you're just born, we started doing that, and now we continue to do it. And I just remember always seeing you on the other side of the table, initially in a little bassinet, and then when you could draw and create, and now when you order by yourself, and pretty soon you'll actually maybe even be paying for yourself.
Yeah, right.
But you're a wonderful little girl, and just now a beautiful woman, so thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. Beautiful. Lucky to have the two of you as parents. Wow. And Sophia, as you know, you're part of a wonderful community here at Congregation Beth Shalom, where you really grew up. And the president of our congregation, Mark Samarick, would like to come up and share his thoughts with you on behalf of the congregation. Mark?
Sophia, what a wonderful job.
Thank you so much.
It was so nice to sit here and listen to you and your words of wisdom. One of the honors that I have as president of the synagogue, I'm realizing this is the fourth bar and bat mitzvah that I've been able to present a gift to the bar bat mitzvah. And it's just such a pleasure to listen to all of you. And you did such a wonderful job.
Thank you so
One of the
much.
things I'd like to share with you is when your mother gave you your tallis that she wore. The tallis I'm wearing is my bar mitzvah tallis. It's an old tallis, but it's one of my most prized material possessions, and I hope your tallis from your mother will be yours.
Yes.
It's just a pleasure to have listened to you. I want to wish you, your brothers and sisters, your parents, all of your grandparents, your relatives, and all your friends are so proud of you today. On behalf of the synagogue, I have for you
Thank you.
a Kiddush cup that we hope you will use now and when you have your own home, a book on the history of the Jews in the Napa Valley, and also a book of the Torah that you can read at any time. You don't have to come and pull it. It's all here in the book. And again, just wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you so
and I
much.
hope that you become continue to be a very active part of our community and do all that you can do.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. So, Sophia, my turn.
Okay.
You know, as you and I have talked about, I have fond memories, and I look over there, Sophia, because I think your favorite seat was over there on that side, kind of like coming in Sunday mornings. And
We'd always be late.
you know, well, I wasn't going to say that. I would put it, you got here right on time for you. Okay, and Gordon and I would welcome you, and I saw something so special in you with that smile and with that kindness. And Sophia, today I could talk all about, as many people here know, a young woman who is a voracious reader and even knows the word voracious. I could talk about a young woman who has a love of dogs. I could talk about a young woman who excels in school. I could talk about a young woman who plays in the band, trumpet, and plays trumpet in the band. I could talk about a young woman who volunteers in these difficult times with the fires up at the place called the Grange. I could talk about a young woman who has so many incredible accomplishments. But I'll tell you what strikes me most. Your humility, your presence, your respect for life and the world, Sophia. That comes from your heart in everything you do. Those are qualities that one can't teach. Those aren't things you put on a resume. But in my book, they count more than any other accomplishment. That heart of yours. Your parents chose a beautiful name for you, Sophia, as you know, which means wisdom. And I think your mom, I don't know if you said today, Stephanie, but you said to me before, an old soul in a new person, in a young person. You have wisdom. You have wisdom beyond your years. And in our conversations getting ready for today, your perspective, your honesty, your insight, you have so much going for you. And you've dealt with so much with your diabetes and how you handled that and the journey. My dear Sophia, there's a little story I'd like to share with you, and I don't know if you know it or not. It's a little story that I thought about for you and for this morning. It's a story of a bumblebee. You know the story of the bumblebee?
No.
Okay, let me tell you. It's not in the Torah, but it's kind of in the Torah. Story of the bumblebee. So I don't know if you've ever studied bumblebees, but bumblebees have kind of like a big body, so to speak, and small wingspan. Mm-hmm. Now, if scientists study a bumblebee, they would say a bumblebee can't fly because you need a bigger wingspan to lift up a bigger body. But scientists didn't tell the bumblebee that she can't fly. And the bumblebee just started flying. We all in this world have limitations, whether it's too big of a body mass, but whether it's diabetes, whether it's a disability, whether it's any kind of issue. And what I love about the bumblebee, she not just flies, but she soars. And Sophia, standing in front of you today, you are a person who will not just fly, but you will soar with the gifts of your heart and your mind and your soul. And my dear, you give us all hope. You remind us of this life and what it is. We're so happy to be here flying and soaring with you. And my dear, in the words of our tradition, I now bless you. Is it okay? Yeah. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'huneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Dear blessings upon Sophia, blessings of strength, blessings of love, blessings of courage. May your journey on earth always be filled with love, like the love that abounds here today for you. May you always know that we are all with you as we pray that your journey on earth is filled with good health, much kindness, great love, and perhaps one day a world more in peace. God bless you, my dear Sophia.
Thank you so much.
Was that bumblebee story pretty good?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
you like?
good.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty good.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Great.
Yeah.
Should we go on with the service, Gordon?
Sure.
Okay, and so I want to invite back up Sebi and Santi and Lola. You have enough strength to open the ark again? You feeling pretty good? Okay, come on up. I'm going to invite the congregation to rise as we return the tour of the ark on page 374, and then we'll go right into the prayer called the Aleinu on page 586. Please open the ark. You can help around if you want.
Face the Torah.
Hodo haleretz v'shamayim vayarem keren lehamo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo hallelujah. Hallelujah. Eitz chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomecheha meushar teracheha darchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha V'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kakedem.
We'll continue with the Aleinu on page 586.
Aleinu לשבח האדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
And do we do the Kiddush at the end? Please be seated.
Yeah. Well, we just did a short one.
Yeah.
Not like basic one.
Where's the white book? Oh, I know it's right in.
598.
Okay, terrific. To everything in life, there's a context, and Sophia is well aware of that. And at this point in the service, we take a moment to think about loved ones who are no longer here, loved ones who walk this earth and made a difference in your lives and my life, and we think of them. And Sophia, you probably never knew great-grandparents, right? But you had great-grandparents, and you had great-great-grandparents, and it's because of them lots of things happened in life. And the prayer that we say is on page 598. Many of you probably have heard of it. It's called the Kaddish. And what's so interesting about this prayer, even though we're remembering those who have walked this earth and are no longer here, nowhere is the word death mentioned, only the word life. And Sophia, it's what you teach us, what you're all about. We celebrate and we affirm this gift of life. So we remember those who have died in this past year. We remember those who died in this season. And remember those who we hold in our hearts. Michael and Stephanie, did you know your grandparents? Well, we think of them at this moment. We think of people as I ask you to rise and join with me on page 598 with the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, b'yalma divra chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agalah v'zman kariv v'yimru amen, yehei shmei rabbah mavarach, le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah b'richu le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Zichronam livracha, may all of our loved ones, may their memories always be a blessing, especially today. Please be seated. So Gordon and Sophia, we're coming to near the end of the service. And is there a song that we should do? You have a song in mind, Gordon?
Favorite song you want to do?
The song I remember is the chicken song.
The chicken song.
We don't have to do that.
Yeah, come on up here. We want the
We
chicken.
can do it, whatever you want.
You want the chicken? She wants the chicken song.
It's a chicken. It's a Hebrew chicken song. Get up, lazy youth. There's work to be done. The rooster's crowing.
You probably know
It's a
that.
celebratory song. I think we should do it. Your
You know
day.
this song, right? Kibbutz chicken song.
Bahuratzeo v'tzel avodah. Shum bahuratzeo v'tzel avodah. Kum v'tzel avodah. Kum v'tzel. Now we gotta stand up to the chicken. Cuckoo, time to go para. Cuckoo, time to go para. Let's do a short version like that before you fly away, okay? And we'll end with a little Oseh Shalom, which is at the end of the Kaddish. You can sing with me. Oseh Shalom Nimroma.
Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Imru, Amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom,
Shalom Aleinu, Yahweh Yisrael. Oh, say Shalom Imamah. Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, Amen. There's one more I want to do, which we didn't do yet. Simon Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simon Tov, Simon Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simon Tov, Simon Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simon Tov. Yeheilanu, Yeheilanu, Ulafol Yisrael. Yeheilanu, Yeheilanu, Israel, last time to go. Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Yehelah.
Thank you, Gordon. Sophia, my God. Now we come to the ending with the blessing over wine. And has it been kind of a tough year over at the Honig Vineyards? I mean, it's like it's been a tough year. How are things at Judge Hill? Any better? Yeah, it's been kind of tough at Honig Vineyards, but hopefully, Michael, Stephanie, things. Yeah. Well, your parents found a little bit for you. Why don't your parents and your siblings come on up here for the wine and the motzi, okay? And we're going to join with Gordon. You can hold this cup. And
Sorry.
Oh, the French wine.
I forgot. That was my bad. I forgot to bring the wine. Too many moving parts this morning. There you go.
French wine here in Napa Valley.
Oops.
Let's join with Gordon in the Borei Pri Hagafen of celebrating the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.
Drink a little bit. And then, would you boys like to hold the challah? Are you good at that? Have you washed your hands this week, or? Okay, sure, we're good. Okay, fantastic. Why don't you boys hold it, okay?
Help him out. It's too heavy for him.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. We're gonna do the motzi, the blessing over bread, our gratitude for having food to eat, and a little symbol of it. Gordon, can you lead us in the blessing, please?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And Sophia, with you and your dear parents there, my closing words are to all of you to go in peace, to hold this image. And Sophia, thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for teaching us. And thank you for giving us some time for our own hearts and souls. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat,
There you go. Rob's on it. Thank you, Rob.
They're still sitting there.